right? 6, 9, 14, 16, 18. Captain's Log, stardate 568. Today we're playing Azorius FLYERS in the standard 21 event. It is the Artisan event if you're unfamiliar of it, and that means only using commons and uncommons in your deck. So this is a great way for beginners to get into the game, start building some of these decks while competing at a relatively level playing field, because most people should be able to afford the decks consisting out of commons and uncommons, unless you're day one to arena. But if you've been playing a couple weeks and a couple months, you should have some of those wild cards stacked up and some of your collection beginning to have been filled out from all the farming and playtime that you've done. This is a very powerful deck for having no commons or uncommons. I think I'm going to take it into Mythic rank and try my luck with it tomorrow, or maybe a little bit later today, and then come back with a free-to-play guide for you guys. It's a lot stronger than I thought it would be. I threw it together in like 20 minutes, and then we did some play testing, a few tweaks, and I think we've got it basically dialed in for you guys. So this deck is eating people alive within the Artisan event that you can all take part in for 50 experience. It's free to enter, which is great, and you can redo that as many times as you want. I don't think you gain experience though after your first win, so it's kind of cool to have a queue where you can just play the free-to-play decks. I call them free-to-play, but for me the definition of that is 0 rares, 0 mythics. You should be able to farm these commons and uncommons within a month or two of putting your eyes on the deck list without having any of those cards, right? It's pretty easy to complete your uncommons and uncommons and commons for your collection within the sets. We're taking a look at the deck list. What do all of the cards do? We're going to talk about the deck strategies, the synergies. How do all of those cards come together to form a coherent archetype? Then we're going to watch some gameplay footage, look at how the deck operates against the rest of the meta, and then we have my closing thoughts. So if you find any value within today's video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share the channel out to a friend. Let's get into this Azorius FLYERS deck list. We have 3 copies of Miscast, instant speed for 1, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 3. 4 copies of Basri's Solidarity, sorcery speed, our first 2-drop, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. 4 copies of Faerie Vandal, a fairy rogue, 1/2 with flash and flying. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Faerie Vandal. Lofty Denial, this is instant speed for 2, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. If you control a creature with flying, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. 4 copies of Staggering Insight, this is an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has lifelink, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. 4 copies of Watcher of the Spheres, this is a 2/2 with flying. Creature spells with flying that you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, Watcher of the Spheres gets a +1/+1 until end of turn. We only have a single 3-drop, 4 copies of it though. It is the Jubilant Skybonder, a 2/2 with flying. Creatures you control with flying have spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 2 more to cast, so that's a lot of fun. Into our 4-drops, we have 2 copies of Rewind, counter target spell, untap up to 4 lands, and 4 copies of Archon of Absolution. Flying, 3/2, protection from white. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. We also have for 5, Pouncing Shoreshark, a 4/3 with flash, mutate for 4. Whenever this creature mutates, you may return a target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. These spells are accompanied by 9 planes, 10 islands, and 4 Tranquil Coves. Comes in tapped, you gain 1 life. It's not the greatest, but it should increase the consistency of you dropping your Rewind. The Skybonder doesn't really matter because the dual costs, but sometimes you might get held up and not find that second island, and the Tranquil Coves should help that. So that's the deck list. No sideboard. We're playing best of 1 today. There's some really cool things going on with this deck. The first strategy or synergy I kind of want to mention is that we are making a lot of our opponents' tasks that would normally be free cost things. So whenever they're attacking, they have to pay 1 for each attacker. That's pretty cool, right? So if they spend their mana main phase, now they can't attack you, right? Or if they attack you and pay for that attack. Now they can't cast after their attack on their second main phase. So Archon of Absolution is going to make the field just slow down a little bit, right? So they're not attacking you as aggressively. If they are, they're paying for it, and now they're not playing as many cards from their hand, etc., etc. Secondly, we have the Skybonder. Spells that your opponent casts that target a creature with flying cost 2 more to cast. Again, so if he's attacking you, everything costs more. If he's targeting you, everything costs more, right? When we combine this with Lofty Denial, you know, things like Quench. I don't have Quench in here. I think it rotates. I could be wrong. I'm not too sure. Pretty sure. Lofty Denial, though, is staying for sure, and it syncs well with the Flyers. So that's why we have it. So even if your opponent is ramping, if they are going to be, you know, countering you or, you know, attacking you, stuff like this, specifically removing you with targeted removal, it will cost more. And then our spells like Miscast will be easier to counter. So if he targets one of our Flyers with a targeted removal and he pays an additional 2 for that, so say he has 5, it costs 3, he had to pay the full 5, and now our Miscast hits every single time, and it just makes a lot more wiggle room for the spells that's like, well, you counter it unless your controller pays this amount, because if the amount they're paying has been increased, then you know, the chance of these spells working later on in the game goes up, which is great. There are other spells like that, but I just wanted to keep it basic, and we don't really need that many counter spells for the deck. We really just want to focus on having those key counters to protect those few key creatures, and basically that's anything that we put our Staggering Insight on, which is not only a life gain engine, but the draw engine as well. So easy peasy lemon squeezy there. We don't have Rally of Wings anymore. We've replaced that with Basri's Solidarity. You know, it's not instant speed. It doesn't untap your creatures. They don't get +2/+2, but they do get +1/+1, which is fine. It's good enough. It does the job for now. Faerie Vandal has really good synergy with Staggering Insight because it will get the +1/+1 tokens every time that you attack and draw a card. It's also a very good target for our Bouncing Shoreshark. How has no one thought of that? Bouncing Shoreshark? It shouldn't be pouncing, it's Bouncing Shoreshark. Ugh, sign me up. Anyways, because the tokens go on the creature and we mutate on top of it, the tokens transfer. So the ability of whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Faerie Vandal will stay there. And it will also give our Shoreshark flying. So we'll have a huge flyer within Faerie Vandal once we mutate onto it and put our Staggering Insight onto it. And then again, I talked about using our counter spells only on the high priority stuff. That's anything that's going to be targeting our Faerie Vandal once it's equipped and ready to go, right? Other than that, we're just stacking around it. We put our Watcher of the Spheres out. This reduced the costs of our own spells. So not only do we increase the spells and the objectives and the interactions that our opponent's doing, but we're going to reduce our own cost of our own Flyers, which the majority of the deck is, admittedly, right? So that's cool. And, you know, just hold up the counters. You can flash stuff in if you don't end up countering, like the Vandal, like the Shoreshark, especially if he doesn't have blockers. You can just, you know, flash it out as the creature. The 4/3, you don't always need to get the flying off the Vandal, but it certainly helps because most time your opponent will have defenders. That's it. It's a very simple deck, and it's a very powerful deck. As far as upgrades go, we're going to touch on that at the end of the video. So we're going to get into today's gameplay footage, but before we do, I have to remind you that I am live on YouTube every morning at 6 a.m., at 7 or 7:30. Whenever the YouTube ends, we do switch over to Twitch, and then we're back again on YouTube at 6 p.m. All times are Mountain Standard Central, or, you know, whatever that is, MDT, MST. I think it's the same these days. If you don't want to do the time conversion for yourself, just go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell icon, and you're going to be notified when we do go live, right? So I appreciate it. Thanks to all of our financial support on YouTube, Twitch, Patreon. You guys are slowly trickling in. It's kind of building where it might get to the point where we can do this full time and not go back to work. I certainly hope so. And I really, really appreciate it, you guys. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And, you know, I know the rest of the community who's just watching and enjoying the content appreciates it as well. So from all of us at Hello Good Game, thank you so much. Enjoy today's gameplay footage. Don't forget to watch to the end, and we'll take a look at our upgrade guide. Enjoy. Hand looks weird. No islands, right? We're gonna mulligan it. What? Okay. Let's keep this. So I think the Archon can probably go here. I don't want to be greedy. We can cheat it out and it all looks good, but wouldn't it be better just to focus on the Watcher, the Miscast, the Insight, right? Let's just go back to basics. I mean, as soon as we drop Staggering Insight, they're going to concede anyways, right? Here comes our spheres. And I mean, as long as it's surviving and we pull a land, then we're all good. Right, and then we can Insight and hold up our Miscast. Woof. 3/3, a life gain, draw card. Better be an island. Negative. Oof. Not good, not good. Alright. Innkeeper. For Order of Midnight. Alternative art. That's pretty cool. Gets the draw. We get the land. It's slow. Not quite what we want. And we should probably hold up our counter, right? We can't block. Let's take the hit. We should have waited till after we drew to play in case we drew an untapped land, but let's just hold her easy with this Miscast. You know, we've got the Shark, can do shenanigans later. We have the Archon to protect him if he tries to go big later on. Oof. More creatures. Okay. The Intruder can mess us up, right? The Intruder can destroy our enchantment. It's annoying, and I hate it. We need a land for our Shoreshark. Wow. We play this as a blocker. He has to now pay for his Flaxen Intruder to attack. So not only does he have to remove it, but he also has to pay for the attacker. So we're good. All is well. We can get this Miscast back up again. What was that? 2 knights, right? 4 damage total. He can only attack with 1. Really slows his pace down for us, gives us a little bit of wiggle room. I think we just go for it. You should get life gain ×2. Land, okay. At least. That helps us for next turn. This is fine. Takes his draw. Giant is annoying, but we've got the Shoreshark for that. Oh no, he's taking land here. Countering the adventure spells kind of sucks because you can't counter. Well, you can, but you'd have to use 2 counter spells because of the copy. Wow, going big. Alright, we have 27 life. Again, I don't really care much about this. 8 damage. He's got no land, he can't do anything. So, we need to use our Shoreshark, I think, for 4. That's all of our land. Let's grab that life gain back. Perfecto. Takes us to 5. We need 4. Plus we have our Miscast. We'll end our turn here. Toss a Watcher. And a Solidarity, I guess. We have Rewind as our first counter for the turn. But again, the Clover makes the counters much less efficient. Such a good card. Let's counter it. So we want to counter one of these and bounce the other. We also need to get rid of these giants, though, is the thing. He's double taking them from the grave. That's so good. So much value with this dang Clover. Let's try to go wide too. So we'll take 4. Gives us just 1 mana. Down to 12. Draw 2. Up to 6. Okay. We can hold up 4 for our Shark or our Lofty Denial. That kind of protects us a little bit. Again, on the mana front, making his stuff cost more. He just wants more draw, which, I mean, is good. He's down to 36. They're down to 36. I mean, Hades, I can only assume. We just want to use the Shoreshark here. He goes over top. We want to bounce on the life gain situations, I believe. Even though it helps him gain a bunch of life next turn. Gross. Oh well. Double draw. We're holding our own at least. I wonder. So these guys can't block. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right? 6, 9, 14, 16, 18. Math! Good game. That was actually a lot of fun. Opponent goes first. Hand doesn't look bad. Doesn't look great, though. I mean, we can play our Watcher, and then our Bonders are cheaper. But we need more land, right? These Solidarities are like a spice card. We're not supposed to pull those until turn 5. Land is nice. We can pull, you know, just some more jazz, I guess. Archon of Absolutions are great. The Shoreshark's really good. Maybe a little bit of a counter. Wow, that's awful. I guarantee you he has removal, is the thing. We could have dropped 3, then we could have double dropped our 2s, which would have been good, but you just know he's got single targeted removal. I'm sure of it. That's a big hit. Let's make him start paying more. Let's just boost ourselves, right? That could be a bad play if he's got a wipe, but more damage, sir. Let's get him. And now, actually, our Solidarities become useful. If we could pull another Plains, we could double drop Solidarities. Boot Nipper, more Death Touch. Death Touch Tribal, right? You should have chosen Life Gain. Dead to 10. Bing, bang, boom. Down to 2, we're 12. Draw a card. Got him. Alright, one more match. This is just a quick event. You only need 1 win. Quick reminder that if you are interested in Artisan, we have monthly free entry, cashed prized Artisan tournaments. It's really great for the beginners to enter, you know, the tournament scene without just getting stomped on all the time by some of these top meta decks. Everybody just brings their best free-to-play deck to the table and has a great time with it. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Join the Discord. There's a lot of land. 4 land. Probably don't want to pull too much more. We'll play our Watcher. The protection from white could come in quite handy here. It looks like our opponent's playing a form of white. White is the most patient color in the game. It allows you to run the rope and not even notice it. You're just, you know, contemplating in meditation. Seeking guidance from a higher authority. Just a quick little cipher. And then, actually, as white, you're granted an additional bar as well. You see? That's what that snowflake was about. Bertha Maltese. Cranky! Hello. He just had to log into our stream quick. That's all. Kidding. Welcome aboard, my friend. Happy to have you. It definitely appears to be mono white, so this is gonna rock his world. Should probably just exile Watcher of the Spheres immediately, right? It still stays on the field though, so we still always will get the benefit there, which is nice, and you know, just good game. Sorry, bro. It's like the perfect card in our deck against him. Sometimes that happens. You're not always on the winning end of the algorithm everybody likes to talk about, but when you are, it certainly is enjoyable. Right? Now this guy's probably had that happen to him 3 times in a row. He's like, are you kidding me? It's a good card. It's got a lot of value in there for an uncommon. Flying, protection from white, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those attacks. That's something. Nothing here is really worth doing anything. Let's pass our turn. We have counters up. I guess we could have attacked and then just blocked. Our bad. Let's see what he does. Three cards left in his hands. Outset of Life's Bounty. He can pay 4. So let's let that hit. We could have doubled down on it, but I don't think that's worth it. Let's just throw our Vandal out. Woof. Thank you, Modern Magician. Appreciate that. We're held up on our Vandal entering. Pushes up our spheres, but that has a pacify on it, so we're not doing anything there. We can play our planes and then flash a Shoreshark in if we don't use our denials. I think we should just attack a whole bunch, right? And then we can flash block. Just been asked my favorite type of dog. At one point in my life, I had a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and I really liked this dog quite a bit. I also have had labs throughout my life, like black labs and brown labs. They're amazing as well. Big fan of labs. Retrievers, labs, just like friendly dogs, I guess. You know, those big dogs too, like the St. Bernards and the Great Danes. I think those would be really cool to have, but you know, I need to have like an acreage and stuff before I can think about getting a dog again. Our turn, well, is this really even worth it to flash in? It's annoying. Let's still flash it in, but on top of our Vandal, just so the flying damage can go through. He didn't attack, so they didn't attack. Over top. Should we just bounce the thing that can't come back, I guess, right? Get some value from it, because you can just replay these, so it just seems weird. We hit for 7 a turn, lethal in 3. You know, 2 with the Solidarity, which we should do because we can hold up the Denial on top of it still, if anything serious comes. Oh. Alrighty. 8 a turn, still lethal in 3. These 3 forms of life gain on the field as well. Let's toss that down. And we still have our secondary Lofty Denial for whatever he's got hiding out from us. Down to 9, goes to 12. Potentially. I guess we'll see. Oh, no shit there. Can only pay 3, can't afford to pay 4. Yeah, they need to attack to sustain that life total, give him a few more turns. Oh, what is up with all the land? Down to 3, they go to 6. We're out of spells, we have no more counters. Shoreshark is quite vulnerable here. I like how we're getting the random stages in the event. It's pretty cool. Oh, what's this thing? What is that? I might have turned my graphics higher to see what that is. No! Oh, we should click view battlefield. Whoops. Oh well, good one. Hey, what do you guys think of that deck? That's actually not that bad, and you can barely tell that's an Artisan deck. Some of these free-to-play decks are incredibly powerful, especially when played against other free-to-play decks. It becomes quite fun. So if you've been interested in any Artisan content, you know, you might not have a collection filled with rares and mythics, and you still want to be playing this, join our Discord. We've got a huge community focused around Artisan. You know, we try to tailor to the beginners within Magic the Gathering arena, people who aren't dropping tons of cash and just farming organically. Come hang out. We've got free tournaments that have cash prizes that are focused on Artisan and Brawl formats. So very friendly for you guys to be getting into. I mentioned that we're going to have an upgrade guide here. We're into it immediately. In the sideboard, within the deck list as well, you'll see these upgraded cards if you want to use them. Skycat Sovereign is amazing. It's a 2-drop with flying, and it gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. You can also create flyers in dumping your mana for 4, so a little expensive there, but nonetheless, it's still a really cool option. And you can do that instant speed, so if your opponent has some sort of removal that's doing damage to him, and you have open mana, boom, you make another cat, your defense goes up, and you survive his removal. Brazen Borrower, this card's amazing. I've said this a billion times. The tempo it puts out through Petty Theft is insane. Plus, it's a flash flyer for 3/1. So, I can't even help but just admit my love for Brazen Borrower. Sea-Dasher Octopus is really cool. It has Mutate, which can help our shark along, right? Bouncing those creatures back to our opponent's hand. And it can also simulate Staggering Insight. There's no lifelink, there's no +1/+1, but we are going to have that life gain, that draw engine on our side, which is really cool. Baneslayer Angel, you know, I probably wouldn't play too many of these in the deck. However, with Watcher of the Spheres, creature spells with flying cost 1 less to cast, you can reduce Baneslayer by up to 3 and play a 5/5 with first strike, flying, and lifelink for 2. Right? Woof. Temple of Enlightenment just makes the deck a little bit more consistent. We're putting this in there in lieu of the Tranquil Coves. Instead of gaining life, we're scrying so we can get the card that we need on time, on tempo, on curve, etc., etc. So the upgrades are very basic, but you can see just how well they'll work with the current deck and not change it or skew its strategies or archetype, etc., etc. Woo! What a day, you guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out the Artisan event. Join the Discord. Check out our Artisan tournaments. We also have Brawl tournaments. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, I think I'm going to take this deck into Mythic, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing that. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, hit that bell icon, all that jazz, and a huge shout out to all of our financial support on Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube for making all of this possible for us. And we are live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. On 7 a.m., we switch to Twitch, and then at 6 p.m., we're back on YouTube. All times are Mountain Standard Central. If you don't want to do the conversion, just subscribe, hit the notifications so you're like alerted. You know what I mean? Don't miss out. We do give the gem code giveaways and the individual card rewards, sleeves, like whatever codes we can get through the community, we're passing them out to you within our lives. So come collect some codes, come say hello. We're friendly, I promise. We ban the bullies. Thanks for watching, you guys. Take care, and we'll see you all a little bit later.